Hello guys, in this video we're going to speak about the rules that arrange the triangle pattern, and as you can see we have different shapes. So there are two types of triangle patterns. We have the contracting triangle and we have the expanded triangle. First, the contracting triangle pattern. This pattern has three forms. The first one is the normal shape of the contracting triangle, and we have two other forms which are the descending form and the ascending form. So where we can see this pattern? We can see this pattern in wave 4 and wave B of a zigzag, in the wave E of a triangle itself. Also we can see in wave X and XX of a zigzag form, which means the double zigzag or triple zigzag, and we can see in wave Y or wave Z of a complex pattern. So more details. This pattern consists of 5 big subwaves, as you can see, A and B and C and D and E, each wave of which should not exceed its previous wave, except wave B. Wave B can exceed the beginning of the wave A, and this is the only exception with the subwaves of this pattern. And when that happens, we call it a irregular triangle pattern. So what's the form of its subwaves? A and B and C and D and E are corrections. Wave A and B and C and D, they are corrections in any type. In other words, they can get formed in any form except the triangle pattern. But wave E, it can get formed in any corrective pattern without exceptions, which means including the triangle pattern itself. So let's see an example from the charts. Here, wave 4 of wave 3 got formed in a triangle pattern. So we have A, B, C, D, and E, and as you can see, wave D and E didn't push the price to the upper or lower boundary from our triangle pattern. There are some measurements that we use to tell whether or not the wave in front of us belongs to the triangle, but we will see this when we get to the lesson that talks about the measurements. In the same chart, we can see another big triangle pattern that, according to this first count, will represent wave B of a zigzag pattern. We can notice here that wave B exceeded the beginning of the wave A, which means that we are talking about a regular triangle pattern. Inside this big triangle pattern, we can see that wave B was in a zigzag form. And since wave B of a zigzag can be a triangle pattern, we can see here that we have wave B as a regular triangle pattern. The subwaves are like this: A, B, C, D, and E. In the same chart again, wave C was a double zigzag. In the first zigzag, we can see that we have a regular triangle pattern. Why irregular? Because wave B exceeded the beginning of the wave A. We can see sometimes another shape of triangle patterns which get formed in an expanded form. And as you can see, it consists of 5 waves as well. We label them with A, B, C, D, and E, each wave of which is longer than its previous wave. In other words, wave B is longer than the wave A. Wave C is longer than wave B. Wave D is longer than wave C. And wave E, the same thing. Each wave of the subwaves is a correction, and usually in the zigzag form. Usually you find a zigzag in wave A, a zigzag in wave B, wave C, D, E. And when I say a zigzag, it can be a simple zigzag, it can be a double zigzag, it can be a triple zigzag, because zigzags have different forms, and we spoke about that in the lesson of the zigzag. So where we can see this pattern? Pretty much the same places where we can see the contracting triangle pattern, which means wave 4, wave B of a zigzag, also in wave X and XX of a combination pattern, which means a double zigzag or triple zigzag. The wave X and XX that combines between a zigzag and another can be in a triangle form, whether a contracting triangle or expanded triangle. Also, we can see this pattern in wave Y and Z of a complex pattern, as we will see in the lesson of the complex patterns. So as usual, we're going to see an example from the chart to clarify the idea more. And here is the chart of the SP500, where we can see that we have subwaves, each wave of which is longer than its previous wave. We have A, B, C, D, and E. All of the subwaves are from the ZigZag form. Just a little note here, you can see that wave B of C, since it is a zigzag form, was in a triangle pattern form. Wave B of D, the same thing, a regular triangle pattern that combines between an impulsive wave and another, which makes a perfect shape for a zigzag form. So this is the basic rules of triangle patterns. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments section, and we'll see you in the next lesson.